100 Tim Screw. What's going on, everybody? What's popping, everybody? Make sure you smash that like button, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. It's your girl, Melly Mel, and this is Talk About It Tuesdays with Melly Mel. And unfortunately, this is trigger warning. This is going to be a heavy topic that we're going to cover today. I just wanted to shed some light and send condolences out to the family of a former moderator of the Black tea sector that we unfortunately got news that they passed away. They were actually they passed away due to tragic circumstances along with her husband. And we all know this moderator, affectionately known as 901 Diva, Dawn Diva, I'm sorry. And this may come as a shock to some of you. Some of you may have heard this already, or some of you may just be learning about this now. But I'm not sure if you guys remember. And actually, I remember 901 Dawn Diva, being a moderator for a particular content creator. When I first got into the sector, started, watching other content creators in the Black tea sector. I wasn't a content creator at the time. I was a subscriber. I wasn't even a moderator, I don't think, at the time. But to any event, 901 Dawn Diva did tragically pass along with her husband. And what adds even more insult to injury, to say the least, in this situation, allegedly they were taken by the hand of their own child, which is like just an extreme blow, and has a lot of us in shock. I know I'm in shock, about this, and it's very sad and it's very unfortunate. But again, this just goes to talk about mental health awareness, the importance of mental health, weapon safety in your home. Because I do believe that the child, and again, I'm going to say the child, and allegedly, the child did use a weapon that belonged to his parents, to 901 Dawn Diva and her husband. And this story is coming from out of Middleburg, Florida. So, and the child is actually in custody now, y'all. So, the child did. It's just an unfortunate story all around. The child is 14 years old, and what seems to, what is allegedly, what's being reported is that there was a domestic dispute between the child and his parents that ended in tragedy. And what the child did was call his best friend to tell him good night, and then he walked to a local church and proceeded to call the authorities from the church, and that's where they picked him up from. And he let them know that his parents were in the home deceased, and they found his parents in their home deceased. So again, like I said, it's just a tragic story all around. What would make a 14-year-old child do this to their own parents? I'm not sure as of right now. I haven't seen anything reported. And again, this story just happened on Monday. So actually yesterday. So I haven't seen any reports or heard anything about if the child had any, previous mental health issues, any mental health problems, things like that, any traumatic experiences. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure we'll find out, as more details come out, court cases come up and things like that. But as of right now, the child is in custody, is in police custody. But I just wanted to give you a little, just a little brief synopsis on what's going on. And also, we're going to hear from the child's best friend, who reached out to local authorities. And like I said, this is a trigger warning, a heavy trigger warning. Some of you actually interacted with 901 Dawn Diva. Some of you were subscribers at the time. Some of you remember her. So y'all can definitely drop down in the comments. Leave, a thought of prayer. Leave some prayer hands, some hearts in the chat. Just to send prayers out to the family, because this is a tragedy from many different angles. A child now probably will never see the light of day again, will grow up in the prison system. His parents are gone, a family is shattered, His best friend was actually close to the family. They consider him, they treated him like a son and consider him one of their own. So he's affected by it as well. So let's just get into this real quick. And again, this is coming out of Middleburg, Florida. And Trevor Lee, that's the child's name. Trevor Lee is now in custody and charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Deputies said he called 911 from a church early Monday morning to say he had unalived his parents. Sharon Michelle Cook announced. So that's the sheriff that's on the scene that we're going to see. I'm going to pull up a video now. We're going to see, the sheriff Cook make a statement. And deputies arrived at the home in the area of Silver Point and Country Road 220, where they found 44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandy Smith unalived from apparent gunshot wounds. And it's just really, really sad. It really is. It's so unfortunate. I don't know what drove this young man to do this. This tragic incident, I do not know. But again, there's a child involved. He's still a child at the end of the day. It's just tragic that a child's mom would even go to that extreme and to go so far as to hurt their parents in this way. It's really sad. And he called his childhood friend, whom they've actually gone to elementary school together. So he knows that's his friend. He knows the little boy for quite some time. Let's see, and it says apparently he got into. It looks as if it appears that Trevor Lee got into an argument with his parents Sunday night, and it ended in that deadly shooting early Monday morning. So I guess between the wee hours of the morning from Sunday night until that Monday morning is when this incident occurred. And then he called his best friend, like I said, and then he walked to a local church and proceeded to call authorities from there, where they picked him up. Okay, let's just get into this clip real quick, y'all. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to 901 Don Diva, her family, her husband, her child, essentially everyone that's her child's best friend, essentially everyone that was affected by this tragic story. So let's get into it, y'all. Y'all make sure you're smashing that like button, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. Let's get into this real quick, y'all.
Details about a Clay County teen accused of killing their parents in their Middleburg home. Tonight, the 14-year-old's best friend is speaking with News 4 Jax. Family member also shared this photo of David Lee and Brandy Smith with us.
Their 14-year-old son, Trevor Lee, is now charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Their home sits near Silver Point and County Road 220. News 4 Jax reporter Alicia Hatcher went to the neighborhood where it happened and spoke with the teen's friend.
One of Trevor's closest friends, Kyrie Beeman, met us right outside of the Lee family home. He says he's known Trevor since elementary school and he just saw him Friday. He also says he spoke with him over the phone around 12:30 this morning, and the conversation they had, he'll never forget.
He told me that he loved me, and he told me that he was just calling to tell me goodnight.
The best friend of a teen now accused of murder replays the last conversation they had before learning the shocking news. Crime scene tape lined a Middleburg neighborhood Monday morning after a chilling 911 call from a 14-year-old boy.
Our 911 communications center received a call from a young man who stated he had just killed his parents. He stated that deputies could find his parents at the house and that he had walked just over a mile away to a church.
Deputies responded and arrested 14-year-old Trevor Lee. When deputies got to the home, they found David Lee and Brandy Smith shot and killed inside.
Preliminary investigation, and we're still very early in this investigation, it appears that there was some sort of domestic argument last night between Trevor Lee and his parents, and that this shooting culminated from that argument.
When we arrived on scene, a family member was there but declined to speak. But one person did open up. Someone who didn't just know the family, he considered them his own.
They were probably the best or one of the best families I knew. They were funny and they treated me very well. They told me all the time that they loved me like a son and they treated me as such.
Kyrie says it's still hard to believe, but he hopes people remember Trevor for more than just what happened.
He's not a bad person just because he made one bad decision. He's done so much for everyone I know, and I don't want him just to be known as a killer or a murderer, and that he was a great kid, a great son.
Coming up on News4Jax at 6, we'll share the moment Kyrie says he will always cherish that he shared with the Lee family. For now, reporting, Alicia Hatcher, Channel 4, the local station.
Yes, y'all. So, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine what this young man is going through. You know, just being his friend and knowing that family, having interacted with them, having gone to school with their son, more than likely having been in their home, and just to, and being 14 years old. I mean, this is a lot to process. It's a lot for some adults to process. You know, when their family members or loved ones are taken from them tragically. And again, my heart, thoughts, and prayers go out to that family, to the Lee family, to that child, to his best friend, to any and all their friends, family members, co-workers that are affected by this, their neighbors, and things like that. And like I said, I don't know if this young man has a history of mental illness. I'm just going to speculate that, maybe something or traumatic happened to him. I'm not too sure. But at this point, I'm just speculating. But I would just say, I don't, at this point, the investigation is still early, as Sheriff Cook says. So the investigation is still early. So all the details are not out just yet. So, we may, of course I'm pretty sure they're going to do a psychiatric evaluation on the young man, to see what led to these events and things like that. If there's any history of domestic violence, in the home, or any domestic disputes within their home, I'm not too sure. But again, like I said, I didn't know 901 Don Diva, personally. But I do know of her from being a moderator for quite some time in the Black tea sector, and it's just unfortunate. And it hit a bit close to home, being that it was a moderator, in this sector. This sector isn't really that big, and especially if you frequent like the same channels and the same content creators, you get to know the moderators as well. They're a part of the channel and a part of the brand as well. So I definitely, remember her, being a cool mod. I've never had a bad experience with her, or, a bad interaction with her or anything like that. Of course, it's a YouTube space. So, she would, like any other mod, would make the subscribers feel welcome and welcome them into the chat, and, do her modeling duties and things like that, do her moderator duties and things like that. But, again, this is real life. That's the YouTube, that's the virtual world, but this is actually real life. And this is a real life tragedy. And this is so sad that a young man, his life is basically over. His parents are no longer here. He is more than likely going to be raised in the penal system. The justice system is going to, I don't know if any family members are going to, come forth and help advocate for him or support him. I'm not sure, because I don't know their family dynamic. But again, like I said, thoughts and prayers go out to that family, to the Lee family. And as more details come out about the story, I definitely will update you guys on the situation. As I learn more details, I definitely will share that with my Hunted Tennis crew. But I said that to say, please, y'all, in lieu of, for the sake of getting the content, and it all be for content, and this is all great content, please just be mindful that this is a virtual world. The YouTube space, the internet is a virtual world. There are people and families in their real worlds and their real lives dealing with things off of this app. When we log onto this app, especially content creators, we go live or we upload videos and things like that. We get to click an off button. We get to click log out. Some people can't log out of life. And unfortunately, this young man, took matters into his own hands and decided to delete his own family and essentially delete his future. That could have potentially been bright. I mean, from what I'm reading, he was a football player. His dad actually picked him up from football practice this past weekend. So I'm really not too sure what kind of domestic dispute could have led to such a tragedy such as this. But I just want y'all to keep that in mind, to please check in with your loved ones, check in with people's mental health, mental state. Just ask someone, how are they doing? And don't just ask it because that's just a common question to ask. Really ask them how they're doing. Just let me, what are your highs and lows for the day? What's one high that you have for today? What's a low point for you today? How can we change it? Do you need any help with anything? Any resources you can provide to the person? And it doesn't have to necessarily be monetary. It could be counseling service you can refer them to. You can drive them to the therapist if they need a ride. Checking in with them, making sure they have something to eat. As neighbors, doing your own wellness check, just checking in on your neighbors from time to time. If you hear loud, maybe loud arguing or loud conversations, possibly checking in with them just to see if everything's okay before it gets violent. But it's just so unfortunate that this situation had to happen like this. It really is. And again, like I said, as more details come out about the story, I will definitely keep you guys updated on it. But I just wanted to say, Hunter Tim's crew, thank you guys so much. Please check in with one another. And if you guys need help, or if you feel yourself, or if you know anyone that's in a mental health crisis, or feel like someone is, as we say, crashing out, or you feel like if they're mentally spiraling, please text this number right here on the screen to give them some help, because this is so unfortunate. It's so tragic, and I don't know what else to say. And it's really, really sad because this young man he's so young. He's a boy. He's a baby. He's a child. And he essentially just wiped out his family. And two people that brought him into this world, he actually took them out. So that's just mind-boggling in and of itself. But like I said, as I learn more details, I definitely will share it and relay it with you all. And I would just suggest to stay prayed up, stay vigilant, try to meditate, try to keep yourself in a positive headspace. Like I said, if you feel yourself getting to a point where you don't know what to do, please call that number or text that number right there. And if nothing else, if you're I don't know what everyone's religious backgrounds are or spiritual backgrounds, but to any event, I know where my core and center lies, and that's in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I would just suggest everyone, please try to gravitate to a higher power. Please try to call on a higher power for clarity in this situation, because I don't have any answers. The only answer I can say to this is Jesus. 100 Tim's crew, I'll check y'all later. Replay crew, make sure you smash that like button. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend. RIP 901 Don Diva. RIP to the Lee family. And to that young man, please, whatever you do, if you're not in the word already, I know you went to a church to call 911. So I don't know if you had like a mental breakdown or some sort of, you came back and now you realize what you did. But you went to a place that you possibly thought was safe, that you deemed as safe, and that was the house of God. So it starts from here. Your journey now for the rest of your life starts from here. And the only thing I can tell you right now, young man, is to call on Jesus. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one.